So today we got to play Islebound. This is who made this?
Ryan Laukat.
Yes,
And,
I love him.
And his Red Raven, produced by Red Raven, but
yeah, fantastic. So this is another adventure game where you're traveling the seas and trying to build your base full of really interesting buildings, and you go about collecting resources, gaining pirates, sea monsters to help you on conquering different islands so you can
do stuff.
So that's the overarching theme. So what's the price point for this game before we talk about quality?
Well, I think it's out of print. So it was initially $49.99 for MSRP. Amazon was selling a copy for $110. So a little pricey. Again, Ryan Laukat, he's the designer and the artist for the game, like most of his games are at Red Raven. Looks, other than that, Board Game Geek rating is 7.2.
Yeah. So guys,
2016.
Yeah, fantastic. So before we move forward, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, or hit that like button if you like what you kind of see here and want to hear about more from us. So moving,
did it different.
Our whole day's ruined.
Oh, okay. I'm all right. All
right. All right. Moving on to quality of pieces. So you said it was targeted for $49.99.
Yep.
I think with all the bits, I think
I
that's
think so.
fair.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
Now, this one does not have the choose your own adventure story
Right.
type thing.
No,
This
it
is,
doesn't.
pure area control.
Which will be
and,
something I talk about.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
It's area control and building up your
Tableau.
tableau.
So quality pieces, you have cardboard pieces. The thing I like about these cardboard pieces is they're big.
Yeah.
Like most of the time I feel like you get small chits and they're not very good. I liked the fact that the fishes and the wooden pieces are fairly large. The same thing with the cubes. They're not your itty bitty cubes, but they are standard cubes, but they are a little bit bigger. The same thing with the money. Again, standard cardboard, but the fact that they're bigger, I didn't realize how much I liked that until we kind of played this game.
Yeah,
what
the
is
dice
up
are
with
little.
that?
They're pretty color though.
Yeah.
They are very pretty color. They seem like the ocean,
But,
it goes with that.
I don't like the size at all though.
Yeah. So in that piece, I like the bigger pieces. It's a lot better tactile feel to it that I appreciate. And then
You got the wooden cubes.
We mentioned
And
those.
the colors are really pretty on
I
these
do
too.
like the colors.
They're more of a subdued color than the bright blue, green, red, and yellow. And these are larger than what you typically get as far as markers go, which I also appreciate.
So
as far as cardboard though, not the greatest. It's a little bit of warping in there.
The board game.
Yeah.
Or for the
and even the island.
Yeah. So that was my one critique for the quality for this is you already have bowing in a lot of places that's kind of a bummer.
But the card quality is pretty nice.
The card is
a little
texture.
bit of texture to
it's
it.
Nice.
So overall, guys, what would you give it as rating wise?
I think I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking 7.5 at the best. It's definitely not an 8 level, but I mean, if it weren't for the bowing, I might go 8, but the bowing on the piece of cardboard is pretty significant.
Yeah, I think I agree with the 7.5, and it would be an 8 if not for the bowing. I do like the chunkiness of the different pieces except for the dice. So overall, I think 7.5 is probably where this is at. So moving on to theme, this is something that I think Laukat really excels at, and this is another part of the world that he brings to us, the seafaring portion. I do think I think Robert's going to mention this, is that there was a little bit, we expected more, just because of who designed this. Like if this had been done by another designer, we wouldn't have felt this way, but it is a little lacking.
Well, I think that the problem is you started out with his story games. He's got a lot of games before that were not story based. So you're trying to evaluate some of his earlier releases based upon the later ones where he added the choose your own adventure stories in. And they're not going to be the same. I mean, we haven't tried the Empire of the Void, which is his first game.
Yeah, but it's not in this universe though.
No, that one's not.
But I mean, of this universe or this world, I think that Above and Below, Near and Far, those were the initial games other than Rome. But I even think Rome thematically was a little bit more than this.
I don't think so. I think this has a little bit more to it. I do think we did kind of skip out on this theme a little bit because we didn't read the event cards like I think we should have. So I don't think we took the opportunities. versus like in Far Above and Below and things like that. It kind of forces you. You have to take it right. You have to make decisions based on that. Where here you can skip the theme if you want to, and I really regret doing that with this game. So, score-wise, guys, what would you give it?
What?
I mean, I like the cohesiveness of the universe he's created. Yes. So when you're evaluating theme, it's almost like you're evaluating the entire
series.
You know, the art on it is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love his characterizations. They're the same characterizations that you get in the other games. And I love the fact that he puts where you can integrate the pieces if you really wanted to. I've never done it, but you can flip them over and use them for Above and Below.
Right.
You know, it's really cool that he's integrated that with it. You know, I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8. As far as, I mean, it's not story driven as you mentioned, but I don't think it really has to be. I don't think every game has to be a choose your own adventure for him.
Yeah, I agree with the 8 because it is very impactful if you took away that expectation of full blown story, and I think we did miss out on those event cards. You're a pirate, you're an adventurer, and you're going out and you're doing things, and there's a lot of things to do. So I like it, and I think I agree with an 8. What about you?
I'm gonna go with 7, only because I love the art. Ryan Laucat's art's gorgeous. There's no arguing that. But other than the art, everything else feels pretty layered on. Feels like it doesn't feel any different than any other kind of. It's kind of an adventure game, but it's just more movement and do this, do that, and nothing really special mechanically about it or thematically. Doesn't really push the theme for it. But because the art is so good, I can't knock it too much. So instead of an 8, I'd go 7.
Okay, cool. All right, so moving on to rules. Randy, how were the rules?
The rules are always straightforward. I mean, the ones that they do are always really well done.
They
There's lots of big pictures that shows the pieces. I mean,
I don't think we've ever had a confusing Red Raven game.
No, they're all pretty straightforward.
I like that the iconography is consistent throughout the world that we're in. And so it's super easy to pick up this game because we're so familiar, because we played the other games. And so, like, if you think about, I want to teach my friends a bunch of new games, do the whole system, right? Because once you learn it, like, you know it, right? So I actually really appreciate it. Again, we had a cheat sheet that I think was perfect for what we needed.
Well, that and the book tells you exactly, even though they got the iconography, they tell you what each of the spaces you go to does, which I appreciate. I think there was one thing we had a question about that wasn't explained here. I think it was one of the event cards or something that they didn't break those down in here. So there was some question. Yeah, we had to figure out.
I think it was the attack, wasn't it, on some of the event cards?
We
weren't for sure if we had to attack that.
It wasn't clear
with the strength of our pirates and monsters or not.
So. Yeah, so they could have probably improved it with that. I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 from just the detail in here. It could have been higher, I think, if they had put the detail for the cards too.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to overall gameplay, guys. What'd you think? What was your favorite part? What was not so favorite?
I mean, overall gameplay, I thought it was a little boring just because it's just really, you get a base amount of movement. You can increase that movement based off of some of the cards you get in your tableau. But you just move around, and if you have the money, you do an action. If you don't, then you try and get money by searching for treasure, and you just keep going back and forth with the goal trying to build either influence or enough monsters where you can roll pirates to roll to be able to either conquer or ally with an island.
With the goal being that you're going to get victory points from doing actions, but ultimately building your buildings.
Because 8 buildings ends the game.
Yeah.
So I ended the game, and it was pretty tight. I think I only lost by...
I got creamed.
I lost by 10, I think, behind you, and you were behind me, right?
Oh, by like 15 points. I got devastated.
I won.
Yeah. So. But the thing is I actually still really enjoyed it. I liked moving around and doing the different things. I
didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. So
yeah,
I think I'm going to be consistent with my score as a 7. So
yeah, what do you think?
I enjoyed aspects of it a lot. I like the the ability to conquer or use diplomacy to take spaces. I really enjoyed that. which is kind of funny. You liked it as much as you did, considering area control. You always complain about area control, and that was area control.
Not really.
But I really like how the scoring of this had given you a lot of different ways to score. Like you ended the game with the most buildings, but I won because of the distribution of points that I had because I kept running up the chart of the whatever that victory point chart's called. I did
the
that.
renown.
Yeah, renown. Whatever. I did that like way more times than you guys did, and then on top of that, I had pretty decent point count on the buildings. But you can combine it. It's not just one path to victory. I like games like that, of course. And I thought it was a unique mechanic with the events being locations that you go to and triggering. You know there's going to be an event. It's not like it's a surprise and you flip a card and there's an event. The events are there, and you can go to those locations and trigger them or not.
I do regret not reading them out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the fact that there's kind of like two different types of events. Mm-hmm. Whether you go to the city and if you meet the requirements, you do this, or you go to the trumpet action, which is kind of like another type of event.
Well, also,
so that's kind of
and the trumpets were neat in the sense that you got a bonus for going there, but everybody gets to score, so you got to strategically plan when you went there to trigger it, when it was going to be to your most benefit.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of things and that's where I wish we could play this again fairly soon, because I think starting out I definitely didn't do well at this game, and I think it's just because I didn't fully understand. But now that I understand the kind of concepts, I am very excited to play it again. And probably
you do realize that's why I only play games once, because I tend to win more the first time around and then lose, which y'all know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that means we won't be playing it for a while.
I tried so hard. Did you get a score?
No, I think I'm going to go 8s across the board. I think this is about an 8 level game for me.
I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. I really like it. I definitely want to play it again. I think it's a good game. Is it going to be something I remember in a couple of weeks? I'm not sure. Besides the universe.
Unless if you get to play it again.
Right. Because we know that's going to happen. I mean, the thing is, and this is something that I appreciate about his world, is because we've played a lot. Like, I could probably jump in and be like, oh, yeah, but will I remember this in a couple of weeks and be like, that game, can we play that again? I'm not sure if I would.
To be fair, there's no game that you describe by actual name. It's always, that game with that piece. We've already covered this before in video.
Blue's in it. I know Blue is in it.
I am always having to figure out what that game mysteriously is out of 3,000 games. Which one is it you're talking about?
See, it's his own game. That it's my puzzle for you. That way you're not bored.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's her goal to drive me crazy, is what it is.
She's doing a good job, too.
Oh, yes.
My job is to keep it interesting. That is all.
If she gets me institutionalized, then all this is hers.
Don't ruin my plan, okay? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you like it, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you guys later, okay? Bye.
We are allowed to play games more than once. We don't have to just play them one time and done.
We need a review. We need a review right now.
I have no reviews. I had nothing to post today.
It probably is butthurt from it, too.
Oh, he'll have one posted by the end of tonight. Let me tell you.
That might be true.
I told you! Heaven forbid we post something every other day.
Yeah.
We will not keep up with the inflow of games if we do it every other day.
He's so cute.